One morning, Father Bunny was reading the paper. "Wouldn't it be nice if Snuffy could stay with us sometime?" Miffy asked her father. "It would be nice," said Father Bunny, "but we must first build a little house for her to stay in." "Boris Bear has lots of wood," said Miffy. "I will go on my scooter and ask him if he can give us enough to make a doghouse." So Miffy took her scooter and set out for the forest where Boris and Barbara Bear lived. When she got there, she told Boris they would like to build a doghouse for Snuffy. Boris said, "What a nice idea! Of course I will give you the wood, and I will also cut the wooden parts for you. So all you have to do is nail them together." "Oh, you are very kind, Boris," said Miffy. "That will make it easy for us." So Boris took some wooden boards and measured them. Then he cut them into just the right size and shape so that they could be put together to make a doghouse. "Oh, thank you, Boris," said Miffy. Miffy rode home on her scooter. She told her father what Boris was doing. "Boris is very kind and clever, but he can't carry all those wooden parts to our house. Let's go and pick them up in our car." Father Bunny and Boris carefully put all of the parts of the doghouse into the back seat of the car. Father Bunny thanked Boris, and then he and Miffy set off home. When they arrived, Father Bunny laid all of the parts out in the garden. "Now let's see," said Father Bunny. "This piece must be part of the roof." "And this could be a wall," said Miffy. One piece after another, they began to put the doghouse together. "It looks a little strange," said Father Bunny. "There is no doorway for Snuffy to get inside." "Yes," said Miffy, "and there is a big hole in the roof." "I don't think we have it quite right," said Miffy's father. "Boris didn't give us an instruction sheet." Just then, Boris arrived. "I thought I'd better come and help you," he said. "I wasn't sure if you'd know how to put the doghouse together." Boris was a clever bear. He quickly took all the pieces apart and put them together in a different way. And look, there was a cozy doghouse for Snuffy. They all laughed at how easy that was. Along came Snuffy. "It's a little house just for you, Snuffy," said Miffy. Snuffy loved her new doghouse and enjoyed her stay at Miffy's. One day, Miffy's mother took a large tray of fresh biscuits out of the oven. "Oh, they smell delicious," said Miffy. "And there are so many, Mother. Maybe I can take some to Boris and Barbara Bear. They love biscuits too." "That's a nice thought, Miffy," said her mother. "I will put some in a paper bag and you can take it to Boris and Barbara on your scooter." Miffy put the bag of biscuits into her scooter basket and headed out to the woods where Boris and Barbara lived. Just then she heard the sound of barking. Snuffy was running after her. "Good morning, Snuffy," said Miffy. "Would you like to come along with me to visit Boris and Barbara Bear?" They travelled along together into the woods. But the ground in the woods was very bumpy. This didn't bother Snuffy, who ran around happily. She ran ahead, much faster than Miffy. Miffy had to ride very carefully. When she went over a very large bump, she didn't notice that the bag of biscuits had fallen out. When Miffy arrived at Boris and Barbara's house, Snuffy was already there. Miffy wanted to give Barbara her present, but she realised that it had gone. "I wanted to bring you some of Mother's freshly baked biscuits," she said to Barbara, "but I've lost them somewhere in the forest." "Never mind," said Barbara. "I baked some biscuits too, so we can still have a nice little feast." And so they did. When it was time for Miffy to go home, she looked around for Snuffy, but she couldn't see her. "I can't go home without Snuffy," said Miffy. "She might be lost." "Don't worry about Snuffy," said Boris. "All dogs know their way home." So Miffy started home on her scooter, but she wondered, where could Snuffy be? "Snuffy, Snuffy," she called. "Where are you?" She went on a bit further and called out again. "Snuffy, Snuffy, where are you?" Now Miffy was beginning to get a bit worried. "Snuffy? Snuffy, 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 Snuffy." Suddenly, Miffy saw the bag that her mother had filled with biscuits. "Oh," she said, "at least I've found the biscuits." But when she picked up the bag, it was empty. There were no biscuits inside. Then she heard a little sound from behind a tree and went to see what it was. And there was Snuffy, sound asleep, with just a few biscuit crumbs next to her on the ground. "So there you are, Snuffy," said Miffy. "I see that you had a nice feast on your way home." On a bright and sunny day, Miffy's teacher told the class, "Tomorrow we are going to learn about the seasons of the year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter." Miffy and Melanie rode home from school on their scooters. They enjoyed the fine sunny weather. But suddenly dark clouds appeared and it started raining. They had no umbrellas with them, so they hid under a tree. The rain only lasted a short time, and soon they were on their way again. But then it began to get very windy. It was difficult to ride their scooters in such a strong wind. Miffy said, "Our clothes are not warm enough for this cold wind, Melanie. We must try to get home soon." And just as they got to Miffy's house, it began to rain again. It was so cold that the rain changed to snow. Both girls were glad to be inside, where it was nice and warm. They wondered how there could be so many changes in the weather so quickly. The next day at school, her teacher told the class, "Each year is divided into 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. This is a picture of spring," she said. "What happens in the spring?" Aggie raised her hand. "I think that spring is when the flowers grow," she said. Winnie said, "Yes, that's because the sun is getting warmer. Everything grows in the spring." "That's right," said the teacher. "What about summer?" Now Melanie raised her hand and said, "I love the summer because it is nice and hot and I can go swimming." Melanie loved to play on the beach. "Yes," said the teacher. "The summer is the warmest season of the year. But after the summer comes autumn. What do you think happens then?" Miffy said, "In the autumn, the wind blows, it gets colder, and all the leaves fall off the trees. And then everyone knows that the winter is coming." "Very good," said the teacher. "And what happens in the winter?" Miffy said, "Well, I have to wear my warm clothes because the winter is very cold and usually there is a lot of snow." "You are smart little bunnies," said the teacher. After school, Miffy said to Melanie, "I wonder what season it is now." Melanie started to laugh. "I think that we're having all the seasons right now. Yesterday it was sunny, then it rained, and then it snowed." "Yes," said Miffy. "We had a whole year's seasons in just one day." And they both laughed. "You have so many wonderful tools, Grandpa," said Miffy. In Grandpa Bunny's workshop, there were hammers and a saw and other special tools. "Will you show me how to make something with your tools, Grandpa?" asked Miffy. Grandma Bunny was surprised. "I thought I'd teach you how to bake a cake today," she said. There were so many interesting things to do when Miffy visited her grandparents that Miffy didn't know which to do first. "Well, some little bunnies like to learn how to sew or do things in the kitchen," said Grandpa. "But they can also learn how to make things with tools. In fact, it's the same thing," said Grandma Bunny. "Whether you bake a cake or make a bookshelf, you have to put certain things together." "I know what to do," said Miffy. "I will bake a cake and I will make a wooden box to put the cake in." "That's a wonderful idea," said Grandpa Bunny. "First you can make the cake, and then we will know how big to make the box." "I will bring it home to Mother and Father as a present," said Miffy. Miffy went into the kitchen with her grandma. She began to put together everything she would need to make a cake. "First, we must measure the right amount of flour and sift it into a mixing bowl," said Grandma Bunny. "Then we must prepare the eggs, milk, sugar and chocolate powder in just the right amounts and mix them together." Miffy used special measuring cups to be sure she used the right amount of each ingredient. It was all written in Grandma's cookery book. When everything was mixed together, the cake mixture was ready to be baked. Miffy poured the mixture into a special round cake tin. She measured the tin with Grandma's ruler. Then it went into the hot oven. Now Miffy was ready to make the box for the cake. She told her grandpa how big the cake would be. and he showed her how to use the same ruler to measure the wood for the box. She marked the wood at just the right length and used one of Grandpa's clamps to hold each piece to his workbench. The clamp held the wood steady, so Grandpa could saw each plank to the right size. Miffy liked to see Grandpa working with the saw, back and forth until it cut right through the wood. Now she had pieces of wood for the bottom and the top of the box, and for the 4 sides. She used a hammer and some nails, and together they nailed all of the pieces together. Just as the box was finished, Miffy smelt something delicious in the air. "The cake is ready," called Grandma Bunny from her kitchen. "It has finished baking." What a beautiful cake! And how lovely it smelt when Grandma took it out of the oven. "Look," said Grandpa Bunny. "It fits perfectly." When Miffy arrived home that day, she was a very proud little bunny. She had learnt that careful work and putting the right things together could make a delicious cake or a beautiful box. Father Bunny and Mother Bunny were very proud of her. "I have a surprise, Mother," said Miffy. "A very nice surprise. Do you want to guess where my surprise is hidden?" "Oh, yes. I think it's in your room," said Miffy's mother. So they went to Miffy's room. "Is your surprise here?" asked her mother. Miffy laughed. "No, no, no," she said. Said Mother Bunny. "Maybe it's here." "No, no, no," said Miffy. "My surprise is not hidden in my room." "Maybe it's in the kitchen," said Miffy's mother. "Let's go and have a look." Miffy's mother looked into the kitchen cupboard. She looked all around the kitchen. Miffy danced and laughed. "No, no, no! It's not in here," she said. "Let's go and look in the garden then," said Mother Bunny. So they went outside. Miffy's mother looked all around the garden. "I can't see any secret out here," she said. "My surprise isn't out here," said Miffy. She was having great fun with her mother. Then along came Snuffy. She barked happily when she saw Miffy. "Well," said Mother Bunny, "where is your surprise? If it's not in your room, and it's not in the kitchen, and it's not in the garden, then where could it be?" Miffy said, "Let's go inside the house and I'll show you." Finally, Miffy said, "It's in my school bag." But her school bag wasn't there. "Oh dear," said Miffy. "In my school bag was a drawing I made for Father. I wanted to surprise him and put the drawing under his pillow. But now it has gone." Just then, Snuffy started to bark. Snuffy was carrying Miffy's school bag. "Aha," said Miffy's mother. "You must have dropped it on your way home." Shall we have a look at your drawing now? It is beautiful, said Mother Bunny. Your father will be very surprised to find it. It's such fun to have a surprise, said Miffy. Thank you, Snuffy, for finding it.
Snuffy, Grunty, Boris Bear, Poppy Pig,